everybody. Welcome to Paranormal Mediums. We have an incredible show for you tonight, full of paranormal activity and spirited stories. So, if you have any questions, any stories about ghosts or alien encounters, or interesting stories about life after death, please let us know and we will invite you on the show. So you can tell your story, or if you'd rather type in your stories on the chat, please do. We can share them with the audience for you. Plus, Julie and I will be giving live readings to the audience. Since it's a live show, everyone who would like a reading, please put a specific question in the chat, as it will be easier for us to connect with whatever you're truly looking to know. So, and I'm one of your hosts. I'm one of the pair, Theon, and on top of being an above amateur paranormal investigator, I'm a born psychic medium, remote viewer, and recently I started working with investigators on cold cases involving murders and missing persons. And of course, I'm the founder of Evolve Me Online Community for spiritual learning and metaphysical practices, where we offer services, classes, events, and mentorships, as well as a truly supportive social community. So to join as a free or premium member, sign up on evolveme.com, and that's evolve without the E, me.com. So, and again, here's my lovely co-host there, Julie Starr.
Hello.
Hi, Julie.
It's lovely to see you. And
I know.
forward to tonight, and I have some experiences from this past week that I'm going to that you haven't heard yet that I'm going to share with everybody. But who I am Julie Starr. She calls me Dr. Julie Starr Parker because I do have a PhD in psychology. And I have been a psychology professor for almost 20 years. And I am just now, since COVID, into the psychic, where I've been psychic all my life as well. But it's only been in the past 5 years that I've really started to develop my abilities and to take classes so that I can be more professional and intentional about using my abilities to help other people. So now I am offering services. So I offer intuitive life coaching. So I use my psychic abilities in combination with what I know about psychology to help people who need a little extra on their path and that need some direction and focus. So I help people with that. I also do general readings and mediumship. So people who want to connect with their spirit guides or connect with deceased loved ones, I do that within the context of reading. And my specialty is paranormal consultations and energy clearings. I have so many of my own experiences, and I have gotten so much training from the other side and from, earthly teachers on how to do clearings and how to recognize the dark forces that may be infiltrating people's lives. So I am available to do readings on this kind of just unsettling experiences that people may have, and also clearings, and I can do that on Zoom. So you can find me on Evolve Me and also on my website, juliestarparker.com. And that's who I am. So
Awesome. Oh yeah. Well, I just want to say, we have some, tonight, like I said, we're going to be giving readings, and Julie has some amazing stories. So I'm really excited to hear about that. And it's funny is I wanted to show tonight we had a Ripley's. I'm going to see if my tech support can find it for us, and so I can. But St. Augustine being one of my favorite places, I kind of skipped over there for just one night, and we went to the Ripley's museum. And it's funny is I'm usually the one that gets all of the the videos and things like that. And this time it was my husband Ben. where he was videoing a conversation we were having with one of the spirits there. Her name is Betty, and it was really amazing because one thing about Betty and Julie and I have met her before. She was one of the women that died in the fire, right? So, and then you have a little cat walking behind
Yeah.
you. And yeah, and we carried on just a lovely spirit, and very communicative, and so Ben was filming the area in which she normally sits, and it was hot. We were looking at it on the infrared, and that one chair compared to all the other chairs were hot, and then we were talking about it, and then you see the orb coming. So it was
Oh,
a really cool, yeah. So hopefully he'll be able to. What?
I want to see that.
I know. Will you get it for us if you can hear us, husband?
Yeah, you need a
So
bell. Bell.
I know. Please. Um, and there's Melanie Rose. Hi, Melanie. Yeah, so awesome. I'm gonna let you tell your story because I'm dying to hear. You haven't even told me yet, so I want to hear.
A couple of things that happened this past week, and they happen for I live in a house, and Theon has been here, and there's a lot of activity that happens in this house and town. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of background because I think this background feeds into what occurred this past week. But I
Yeah.
did tell you about this one. I was walking my dog in town. Oh gosh, it's probably been a couple of months now. And I was
Right.
walking down the street. It's dark because I like to walk in the dark. And I looked up and I noticed there was a man standing under a street light that's in somebody's yard. So some people have these lights, tall light poles in their yard. And I noticed him. He's wearing all black. I looked away, looked at the dog, and I looked back and he was gone. And I said, "Oh my God!" I'm thinking there was a man there. It's like he just vanished. He was just vanished.
Wow.
And then I realized, wait a minute, that wasn't a man that was standing. And and I'm thinking about what I saw. And what I saw was someone that was clothed from head to toe in pure black, like a black onesie. And it actually had like little stripes on it. It was very 3D looking. And as I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? He didn't have a face. That it was like this, it was like this black head and face, and there weren't any features. So this happened,
Wow.
I'm like, oh, I just saw some kind of entity. And it was there and then it was gone. And so I went
Oh
about
my
my,
God.
and I was a little like saying, I hope he's not following me. I don't want him to follow me and the dog. So I told my angels to walk with me, and we walk around back. And the next morning, and it's in the mornings when I communicate, I'm in the right state of consciousness. I have like literal like communications and dialogues with my spirit guides. And I hadn't thought
Right.
about it, but they brought it up. And he said, "Don't you want to know what that was?" And what was that? What was that? And I can't remember the exact words. I did write it down in my journal, but I can't remember the exact words. But basically, what they were saying, this was an entity that is there looking for people. They're looking for
Right.
people, not looking for living people. They're looking for earthbound spirits. So this was one of those dark entities that kind of the best word I can describe that I understand it is they collect these spirits, because it's just like we've talked about when you go to Ripley's and you go to these different haunted locations. There are dark forces that trap some of these earthbound spirits. They're trapped.
Yeah.
They're abused, and there's all kinds of stories we can talk about that, and things that we've heard, and things that we've seen. So he was one of those. And then the guide also told me that what they're exposing me to as many different things as they can, because this is my path, this is my calling, is to know these dark forces and to be able to work with people who are troubled by them. And so they just popped them down, and then they moved them out. So it was just one of those experiences that I was given. Okay. So back to what happened this week. This is kind of simple. It's kind of freaky. Um,
I like freaky.
here on my couch, and it's 1 a.m. because I sit up until sometimes 2, 3, 4 in the morning doing work, and
Yeah.
so I'm up late and I'll sleep a little late. I'm 1 a.m, very quick, and I have some French doors over here on this side, and you can see right in and out. But I don't. It's kind of private in my backyard, so I don't worry about that door. Well, anyway, I heard somebody knock 1, 2, 3 times, rap, 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 and it sounded like it was coming from that French door. I'm getting chills now because it did scare me a little bit.
Wow.
And I looked over to the French doors, and it's dark back there, but I didn't see anybody. But what concerns me is like a living person that's
Right.
my French door knocking at 1 a.m. That's
Oof.
what, and there's nobody over there. But at the moment that happened, though, my dog Kalo alerted and started barking, but she was barking at the front door. So she heard it at the front door. I heard it at the back door. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to trust the dog's ears and nose, better than mine. And so I got up and I looked out the window and I looked through the peephole. There's nobody at my front door.
Oh
And
my God.
she barks a little bit, and then she's settling down, and it's like that slow bark because it's like, well, okay, well, maybe there's nobody there. And then
Right.
that was it. So that it was 2 days later, I was telling my next door neighbor, and she's an empath herself,
Yeah.
and talking about stuff like this. Telling her what happened, and I said, I think it's just somebody traveling through because I have a lot of activity in and around this house and in this town. And she said, "What day was that?" And I told her. She said, "Well, that was 2 nights." She said it was 12:15. You know exactly what time it was. She said it was 12:15 after midnight, and she had just bolted awake, which was like unusual for her. Like she had sensed something. So that was close to the same time frame. I said, I think it's just an entity. It could have been that entity. It could have been or ghost, but it sure as day, so loud, 3 knocks, and on glass, because I have a glass door. Both of them are glass doors, and the dog heard it. Okay. Very next night, it's probably 2 or 3 in the morning. I had gone to bed. I had let the cat in and had put him out in the house. I had my door closed. And minutes later, I heard this cat. There's only this cat is the one I've ever heard do it, clawing at the weather stripping, which I have to replace the weather stripping. The weather stripping at that door. That's what he does when he wants to come in. And he's pulled it out. It's a very distinct sound. It's very loud. And I'm getting ready to go open the door to let him in. I'm like, wait a minute, I just let you in. You already got back out? And then it's like, no, there's no way you got back out because all the doors are closed and locked. And so I went to the door, which has a glass window in it, and I looked down. The light was on. Nothing is there. There is nothing there.
Oh my gosh. So you have like a prankster.
There's nothing, and it was clawing. Nothing claws at that door, at that weather strip.
Clawing.
It's such a distinct sound. I said, there, something did that. It was not my cat that did that. And I've told you about the spirit cat, and I said, oh God, I wonder if it's the spirit cat. I wonder if it's the same cat that knocked that bowl off my shelf that went halfway into the room. And and I've got the spirit cat on video on that screenshot. I wonder if it's the same cat. I don't know.
Yes.
And I didn't really try to tune in clairvoyantly to it, but I feel I feel like it's the same spirit cat. That was
Yeah.
yeah, I'm I tuned in a little bit to what was at my door, and I really got it was some entity that is passing through here and
Yeah.
wound up next door neighbors too.
That's interesting. Like I feel like it's a mimic. Does that make sense? Like it sounds like it like mimics different, like I don't know why that's the word I just heard was mimic.
Mimic. Well, he's mimicking my cat. So
Yeah.
yeah, you mean the one the clawing at the door?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a trip. So it's
That
all
is interesting.
things happen that just make you say, "Wow."
I mean, my gosh, that is what a strange experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you've been to Julie's house, it is, I call it like the spirit Disneyland, because there's spirit activity like constantly. And, she doesn't have to go far to do investigations for
No.
sure. Um,
Yeah, all my best evidence at my own house.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And even when I visited there, she for years had told me stories about it, and I was like, I would love to come to your house. I would love to come to your house. And who knows? Maybe I won't experience as what she would experience. So the first night,
Melanie wants to come
what?
to the house, and she's on here. She might still be on here. I told her she can come anytime. Come anytime.
Yeah, we should do a slumber party, a spirit slumber party at Julie's house. Yeah, and we can meet Teddy, our new godson. So that would be.
That's a dog.
I know, yeah, but still your son,
Yeah,
but right.
yeah,
Exactly. And yeah, so and it was funny because the first night, as soon as I went in there, it definitely, and when I say thick, I don't mean like suffocatingly thick. I just felt like I was in a crowded place.
hmm
And there, right? And the first night, she would tell me these stories, and sure enough, I experienced exactly what she had described, and it was a really interesting thing to, like, after all these years of hearing it, to actually see it for myself and experience it myself. And there was a time, I don't even know if I mentioned it to you, but because I don't like to, that for a moment there, I was a little scared. Like we were talking. Yeah, we were talking. I think it was like one of the last nights, and we were talking, and it was after your neighbor left, and we just had this moment. We were talking about something. I think it was talking about one of your first experiences, and I just felt eyes on the back of my neck, and I was like for a second, and I kept feeling like somebody was
Oh,
looking at us from outside.
I remember you. That's because you were sitting right here where I am now, and there's
Yes.
a portal in the wall right here, and I have that read the portal, and that's where the orb came out with the Native American head. We
Oh yeah.
those are on my social media sites if anybody wants to see them. But you were
Yes.
right there, and there is a portal right there, so I'm sure you had eyes on the back of your head. I was sitting. Uh, this happened. This has happened like 2 times, 2 different nights. And I'll sit here and I'll do work on the computer, and this is just my little spot to sit right next to the portal. And I'll start to, like, how you kind of fade out and you start to go into an altered state of consciousness, when it's quiet and you're tired of
Yes.
things. And that was happening to me. And there's a woman very clear in head saying, "He's behind you." And so I'd wait, I kind of come back a little bit. I'm like, "Hello, I'm not dealing with you right now." I'm a little, but yeah, that's happened a couple of times.
Wow. Yeah, and Melanie says, I do want to come visit. Yes, we really I'm telling you, it's so much fun just hanging out at her house. Julie, I think we posted some videos about one night I think it was the last night, we're like, we don't really need to go anywhere. Let's just, do our own, like just video ourselves sitting on the couch. And we got some crazy activity there. Julie was like shooting orbs out of her body. Like we have actual video of it, and maybe we could show that too. And then I had this, we were kind of experimenting, and we were pushing out energy, right? And then you can see clearly, Julie too, like there was energy being pushed out from us, like at the moment that we were doing it. And it was interesting. I've never thought to do something like that on a night vision camera, but it her and I together never ceases to amaze me. That's right. That's the thing. Like I've how when people are so connected that we definitely speak telepathically continuously. Like we will, she'll wake up, she'll know something major that happened, and vice versa. Like I feel certain things. I'm like, okay, I have to like message Julie. I have to ask her how she's doing, or something like will pop up, or like in meditations, things like that. I will like have these experiences, and then Julie will tell me that she just had that experience. It's I don't think I've ever had that with somebody like that before.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
I'll see your face in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh my God, she's astral traveling. Her energy, she's astral traveling. She's been here.
And it's funny because in that same breath, I have that feeling that Julie and I have done something together. We even had a very similar dream that I definitely meant that we were hanging out. It was the night that I dreamt that you and I were sort of Thelma and Louise. Remember, I
Oh,
told you the story about we were like stealing the car, and then you're like, I just had this whole dream. I know we were astral traveling together. I'm like, yeah, we were driving.
yeah, we were driving a spaceship.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, well, there was,
Yes.
there was that time I woke up and I had this visual of you behind my eyelids, and I just saw you there, like wiping your counter, what, and you were wearing a tank top, and I said, "What were you doing this morning?" And because I saw you, there was some message that came with it, but I don't remember what it was. And you said you were washing your rocks from Nevada, and you had wiped your counter, and you were wearing a tank top.
Yeah, she made me take a picture of me in a tank top so I
Yeah,
can I can verify it.
that's how. Yeah, which I saw it that way, but a different color. But it's just weird stuff.
Yeah, and I love it. And well, would you say?
I said, but it's normal.
Yeah, it is for us. I mean, yeah, I think since I've met you, we've always had that very strong connection. Especially when that we had a spirit come to both of us. In the middle of the night, and that I think that's what started it. Like
I
from that moment, yeah. And it was funny because we were supposed to. It was in class, and we were supposed to connect with any spirit that came through, and it was Julie's father for me, and for her it was my mother. So it was almost like maybe our parents were really trying to get us to be friends.
yeah.
Right? I mean, actually we were already friends then.
I'm
But
I'm looking forward to the next retreat. Do you want to talk about the retreat?
yes, absolutely. So, especially, for all you paranormal junkies out there, like Julie and I. So I want to tell you, coming this April, I will be hosting a 3-day in-person retreat with Deborah Lynn Katz from International School of Clairvoyance and Joshua Lewis from Hope Paranormal. It's called the Ultimate Paranormal Experience Retreat. It's a lot of name for a lot of retreat. It's in St. Augustine, which is the oldest city in the United States.
And
We will be, yeah, in Florida. Yep. And it will be we will be exploring mediumship, clairvoyant practices, going on. I want to say like ghost tours, but we're really going to utilize intuitive development while we're doing these ghost tours. It's going to be really amazing, as well as a remote viewing scavenger hunt across the city. Um, and then of course, you know, no paranormal weekend is complete without a paranormal investigation. And that's going to be at the old lighthouse. And I'm going to tell you that it's an incredible activity. There's ghost children, specifically ghost children. They run around a lot, pull people's hair. And there's a huge story. You definitely should read about it. The old lighthouse. And we'll be utilizing ghost hunting equipment. So to register, click the link in our bio on any of our social media accounts, and it'll take you right to the page. Just want to let people know that until I think it's March 1st, we're offering a 10% discount, which is huge, as well as the discounted rooms there in at the Hyatt. So definitely check it out, and we would love to go on a paranormal investigation with you. So Julie's going to be my sidekick. We're each other's sidekick, but so we'll be both there, probably filming stuff, and definitely filming stuff. And I'm going to go see my ghost friend at the old jail. This is going to be an extra. So on one of the nights, I'm going to take a few people. This is going to be outside of the retreat, but my all-time favorite place in St. Augustine is the old jail. It's full of spirits everywhere. They have any kind of spirit. They have transient spirits. They have a portal in the children's room. They have, you know, so many stories and just an incredible experience. And yes, many times have we, you know, some of the spirits do want to cross over. We have, some of them don't. In fact, my friend that is there, the resident, his name is Joe. He has told me, I've tried to do it a couple times, and he's told me each time that no, he wants to stay for his friends. So he's like kind of taking care of people there. So it's interesting to know that after we pass, you know, we're not that much different than we were when we were alive. And so just a great experience all around. And just who I'm doing this with, just amazing. Like Deborah Linkatz, she's, you know, the president of the International Remote Viewing Association, but also, as I said, ISC, and you know, just so much fun. I know Melanie knows what I'm talking about too, and Julie. We've been on many retreats with Deborah, and it's always just wild fun. So yeah, definitely check us out. But again, I just want to let people know that, you know, if you want to get a reading tonight, Julie and I will be doing readings, but put a specific question in the chat, and so that we can focus more when, you know, on your reading, if you want a reading. So, all right. So my tech support did queue up the video.
Yeah.
By Yay. So this is again for those. If you want to play the video, probably can you share screen. Okay. Will you share screen for me, tech support? Slash just my husband in the next room. Yeah. So while he's setting that up, I'm going to set it up myself and explain to you. My husband and I I was there actually, you know, viewing some of the hotels there. And of course I had to stop in at some of my favorite literal haunts. And one of which was the Ripley's Museum. And so there's a few spirits that Julie and I met when we were there for the first time. And so I, being, you know, the paranormal investigator in the family, thought I was going to be, you know, teaching my husband a thing or two. Boy, did he take over that thing, and he got a lot more footage than I did. So is it ready? And I think it's ready. So can you see it?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Share your screen. Don't forget to share audio if there's audio.
I think so. And let's see. Um, that's interesting. It's not really saying. Oh no, there it is. I have to let it in. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I think so. It's dark.
There. Okay. So I'm gonna lower. Let me let me do this, and maybe if I can. Oh goodness, did you not hear that, Dose of Sunshine? I had a whole thing that I said. Uh-oh. Do you hear me, Julie? Yes or no? Oh. Uh-oh. All right, so I'm going to put that video above me, I guess. And then let's see. Now I'm going to start the video. All right. So
Hi, Betty.
he's taking the
Thank
video
you for letting us
of
talk to you
me,
tonight,
or of just the chair. This
and I
is
hope
where
you
Betty
enjoyed the show.
sits. And so
Yes.
he starts to take the video, and
Wow,
there's
it
me
was a
sitting next
pleasure
to it.
meeting you. Thank you so much.
And then it just starts to
You,
heat up.
Maybe we'll come back and visit. Thank
And
you.
it's very interesting. If you notice, he's going to pan
Hi,
around,
Betty.
and so that
do you not
orange
want us to go?
spot means that there's heat there. And I'm telling you, that room was completely
Sorry,
cold.
do you want us to go, Betty?
But look at the chairs next to it, and look at their armrests. There is definitely somebody sitting there. So
I can stay for a little
hopefully
bit
you
if you
don't.
want, or I can go.
Yeah. And I had just gotten up from that, and hopefully we can see a better
You can tell me clairvoyantly. I'm on a
image of
medium,
that.
so if you'd like to just speak with me.
Let's see. I'm going to try to fast forward this. And yeah. So, and that's the exact chair that she sits in. And again, nobody was sitting in there at all. It was us and a group of kids that were across the way. And yeah, it was kind of an interesting experience.
No.
And so here, that's just
Hi,
restarted.
Betty.
But I wanted to show also the video of, and if you can cue up the other video that has where the energy kind of came down. Is that it? Okay. Good. You're on it tonight. Not that one. You're kind of on it tonight. It's the one where we saw the energy, the ball. Hopefully there's no, that's the same one. Okay, maybe go ahead. Is it this one? Let me just try to scroll it, not to keep everybody. And again, if you have a question, you'd like us to give you a reading, please put your questions in the chat while I play around with this video so you can see better. And then you can
Okay,
see
I'm
the
gonna sit
energy
in the
move
third
around a
chair,
little
but
bit.
I'll
That was
Sit in
the
the first
interesting
chair.
part too.
I'm
And
gonna
there's
sit in the
me.
first chair.
Yeah, sit next to her.
Trying to get in on the action, but my husband was doing a much better job.
Thank you.
Here we go. And I think it's towards the end here, and we're talking, and it goes right down from the ceiling down into the chair, down by the chair.
Is it okay if? Oh, I just felt you.
Hopefully,
Betty, can I take your picture?
no.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, Betty?
Interesting. So I'm gonna find that, but I want to take. Poor Julie is all muted and everything. It was all muted. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. No problem. So I'm going to stop the share. And Julie, Starr, did you see that a little bit?
Yeah, I guess it's interesting with the chair. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it's interesting with the chair, getting warm, because you could literally see it warm and then get cold again. Normally with
Yeah.
spirits, you would get cold, like a cold spot. So that's just kind of just an interesting phenomena.
Isn't it? Like, and it was funny because, like I said, no, that is her chair that she sits in.
That's
And, yeah, and when you see the first part of the video, the chair next to it, the other chair, none of them are, at all making any sort of, color change or anything. And
just,
yeah, and
just that one.
oh
That's where
yeah,
those little cat balls or some kind of little EMF reader to put in the seat of the chair. And then
yes,
energies come, those EMF readers will start blinking. They'll start blinking. So I have these little
yes,
balls. Theon told me about these cat balls. So they're little literal toys for cats. And when they tap them, they'll light up in colors. So I got about 4 of them, and I put my room. I put them in my room on the floor. The cats can play with them. And one night, in the middle of the night, I see this glowing, and that cat was just there was no, the cat was in the bed with me. The cat ball just started like blinking. I'm like, oh no, I can't do this when I'm sleeping at night. And then I see this thing going off. So I had to turn them off so they wouldn't blink, because it's one thing when you're doing an investigation, or just during normal waking hours, you see this stuff. But yeah, 2 a.m. and you wake up and that stuff's going off. It's just too creepy.
I know, I know. And it's funny is, speaking of fun paranormal equipment, we are doing gift bags and things at the retreat. So, and
Ooh,
they're not going to, I know they're not going to be your typical gift bags, because I like all the fun stuff, and I don't like it when they give you fluff gift bags. So, I'm
what?
putting in some really cool,
What's
huh?
what's gonna be in it?
Can I tell people? So all right. So I thought it would be a nice surprise, but I'm doing EMF readers, and I know, and I'm making like smudge kits.
Oh,
So
hey.
I know, and those grid lights
Yeah, uh-huh.
that shows the spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them. I'm trying to get them wholesale so that we can give those away too. And
Well,
yeah, uh,
oh man. So you come to the retreat and you even get a little goodie bag with some of your own
so we can do,
for
yeah,
detecting entities.
spirit. Yes,
Yeah.
I know. And then, of course, Josh had created the Hope Paranormal app. So that's a spirit box on your phone, which is great. We use it. I think we've all used it. Melanie's used it, Julie, and just a wonderful app. And you don't have to hear all that
Yeah.
sound, right?
Voice, and then you have to, go back later and really listen to it to understand what's being said, because it's not
Yes.
like talking to each other. Spirits are using these frequencies to create words, and you have to listen pretty closely.
Yeah. Yeah. The really cool thing is, too, is like, what I really want people to start trying to be open to is feeling in. And like, as Julie and I had taken actually taken the course with Josh early on, and all the equipment and all of that stuff. And what we found was, you know, I love using the equipment because then it does give you that validation. But I also love feeling their energy and kind of being sort of silent so that you can feel the energy around you. And you know, I especially in St. Augustine, you don't have to be someone that is uber intuitive to feel the energy there because it's so thick, right? It's like it's, what do they always say? It's like it's not if you're going to have any paranormal experiences there, it's how much. And I haven't met, and especially my husband and children are definitely a good gauge, because my husband's was, and I will say, a huge skeptic. And taking him and my kids on there, he definitely can't say that anymore. So it's they were just like, oh my gosh, like every 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you're in a place full of spirits.
Place full of spirits. So they're a place full of earthbound spirits.
Yeah, yeah. And so it is. We'll say, and we say earthbound spirits, but as Dose of Sunshine did mention, it's not necessarily a spirit, right? It's a ghost, but we say earthbound spirit.
Yeah.
You could say either, but yeah, technically a ghost
Ghost.
is an earthbound. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or not an earth.
My spirit
Oh.
guides call them ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
there was one time, I didn't tell you about this. I was traveling to New Orleans in my car. It's a long way. And I stayed at from North Carolina. So I stayed at a bed and breakfast. And that night I was in the bed and breakfast and I felt something press on my leg. And I'm thinking, and I was seeing like a shadow, and it was very, very bright with the, when the lights were on, but when the lights were off, I'm trying to go to sleep. Then I felt like something press on my leg, and my guide flashed a little sign that, because I can see with my eyes closed behind my eyelids. That's one way they communicate with me, and they'll write things out. And it said, "There's a ghost." And I said, well, I sure thought so. I felt something, I saw something, and then I felt it press on my leg. And then I just, let it go. But, at that particular bed and breakfast, it's an Airbnb. So it was a room in the bottom of somebody's house. I said, I could have left in the comments, this place is haunted, but, but I didn't. And
wow.
here at the house too, they have let me know that there was a ghost that came through, or and I'm like oblivious to it at the moment. And they've also told me one time I woke up and I saw a little thing that said spirit dog, and I'm like, really?
What?
Spirit dog. There was a spirit dog in my room. So I looked down next to my bed and I saw all these sparkles of light next to the bed. And so I like reached down like I'm going to pet the dog or something. And I'm like, cool. Oh, that was so cool. And I said, please tell me when stuff like that's around and I'm not aware. So I can tune in and look and see what I see.
I love that. Well, my one experience was with a spirit cat, and because I love animals, how come they don't want to come to me? Well, actually, my two dogs do, but not the way that you're describing. Only one time. So this was years and years ago. I mean, I think my now 16-year-old son, as of Monday, geez, was like about 3 years old, and I was running we had a treadmill, and I was running, and I felt, as I'm running, felt a cattail curl around my ankle that I actually thought I was about to trip. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, and at the time, my son, was well, he's still very open and intuitive, and he goes, "Mom, that's just a cat," and I was like, "What?" Like because he would tell me stuff like that all the time, and I would just listen to him, and then I was like, "That's crazy," and I guess now that in hindsight, I see it now as I even could see the color of that cat too, like an image flashed of the cat, and then my husband experienced exactly the same thing, also being on the treadmill. So that cat must have really loved people like hanging around. But it was just such a strange experience, especially when you're in motion like that, because you're like, what is happening? Is like somebody going to wrap around my ankle?
Wow.
Like, yeah. So, but that was really cool.
That's
But
cool.
no,
That is cool. I had
no.
one time with the gosh, I hope somebody's typing in the chat box. Is the chat working? Is
Yes, and yes, I've been chatting it up too. Um, but yeah, if anybody has any questions or wants a reading, like I said, put a specific question in there, or somebody that you'd like to connect with, and Julie and I would be happy to give you a reading on
yeah,
that.
have a story. Like we're saying some things that, and you're saying, well, gosh, I've experienced something very similar to that too. I had,
Yes,
all right, now it's really, it,
please tell us your stories.
it can off guard, if you're not expecting it, to feel like you felt the cat tail around. I had a dog nose press on my back one time.
Oh,
And
I love that.
yeah, this isn't necessarily like the happiest kind of situation or story, but this is when I was volunteering at the animal shelter. And
Mm,
there are animal shelters that are no kill animal shelters. That there's no animal shelter that's really no kill, because you can't get them all adopted, and they're the ones that are no kill. It's because they take in other animals from shelters, and when they get full, they don't take anymore. So they can't take them, or if
yeah.
they're adoptable, they won't take them. That animal is still probably going to get euthanized. So I'm just going to say that as my little PSA about the reality.
Ooh, I actually donate monthly to the one by my house, so that's good to know.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm still going to donate because I want them to have as much space as they want,
right.
but
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really, really tough work doing that kind of work.
yeah,
So I volunteered for about 4 years. It was really, really tough because we had so many, and we're trying to pull them from the animal shelter and get them adopted. So we're like a separate organization to the actual animal shelter, the county shelter. And
yeah,
we would take in too many, where it would just be ridiculous, too many, and would have no choice but to have some of them euthanized. There's no room for them. So that was the
yeah.
tragic part. So there's a lot of animal spirits, okay, around that animal shelter. So I am in like in the cat, we called it the cat room. I was in the cat room. I was like cleaning a crate or doing something like that. And I was down on my knees, and I felt it. It was like so palpable. It was like in the nose, just like right on my back. And I turned around thinking a dog had come in there, and there was no dog there. And then I knew because
Oh,
hadn't been that long ago, like several dogs had to be put to sleep. And, it was hard. It was hard going back after that, because I could feel them there. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah, but very
That
palpable. I mean, physical, very physical.
yeah, yeah. Wow, that must have been a like crazy experience. And, I keep going back to my dog Augie. Whenever he wants something, he taps me with his nose. So I can imagine a spirit dog doing that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, down and said hello, hello, and and I had a
Oh,
flash too, and which one I saw one. I was like, oh, I I think it's this one, which is a little husky mix that was there that ended up being put to sleep. But that's just the reality of it. That's the reality of it.
yeah,
There aren't always good,
absolutely.
like you see on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, and scooping has a great question. So there's a lot of sickness in the family. It almost feels karmic. What can I do to clear it? I love this question. And Julie, if you want to start, I'm always the one that jumps in. So
Well,
feel free to.
a little bit. I don't know if I have enough info. There's a lot of sickness in his immediate family. A lot of sickness.
Yes.
And is it like just right now during flu season that you're having all this sickness, or is this like some kind of ongoing thing with chronic illnesses? Just so I have a little bit more direction on where to tune in here.
Yeah. What's funny is I'm feeling that that it is sort of like different illnesses, almost like autoimmune. I don't know if you want to validate that or elaborate on it.
Yeah, I was feeling too there's some kind of genetic component going.
Yeah, and it said my mother fell and broke her arm and leg. But is there also chronic illness, or is it just like mishaps that happen? Like there's always kids sick and siblings fighting. Okay. So you feel sort of like there's, some karma within your family. Okay. We can definitely look at that for you and, find the best way because there's many things that it could be. And I will explain why we're going to look into it instead try to give her advice is that, there mishaps more like okay that makes sense like it almost like feels almost like a curse. I don't like to use that word curse but I know what you're saying like sort of a karmic thing. So there are different ways, and I'm telling everybody else this, there's different ways, different reasons why things like that happen, right? There could be some sort of like she's saying, karmic connection. Yes. And, some families that, it's funny is I've often thought about, when they talk about things being hereditary, yes, it's genetic for sure, but, if you peel back the layers of the genetics and also environment and also like family. So there's always that energetic component. So it's really just about what that is, like where it's stemming from. It could be, quite a few things. So,
Yeah.
And Julie, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I pulled a card for it just to give me some focus. And I thought, wow, okay, this is an interesting card. So I pulled Frog Spirit. And what it says is clear out the clutter. And so as I'm just tuning into your name and I'm tuning into this card and you can tune into this card too, Theon, if you want, clear out the clutter. It feels like they're, oh gosh. So I get, and I kind of feel the maybe a little dysfunction in the family or dysfunction in the way people interact and stress, like the certain stress level. So their stress can affect the immune system. Stress affects your psychological health. It affects your physical health because it can dampen your immune system and it can make people more prone to things. But I'm also getting like something here too on I'm just getting the word cleanliness too. So cleanliness is about your outward environment, but it's also about your energetic environment. So where's the clutter? So it feels like, and I'm just kind of seeing these like little dust bunny parasitic energies in the, so that needs to be cleaned out. So what can you do to clear that out? That's about spiritual hygiene. So yeah, you can burn sage and you can do all of these things to clear out your environment. That's all very nice. But there's also inward work that needs to be done with the people. So how are we interacting with each other? How is my spiritual health? How's my connection? And not just you scooping, but the other people in your environment as well. So the energetic parasites, they like to feed off of discord. So not only will they feed off your light, they also feed off of discord, and that they will create discord in your environment because that they get something, they gain something from that. So I'm just seeing that. So I think saging can be a good thing, and just smoking and clearing out your environment, cleaning the house, but also people need to clean up their act, and clean up their act in how they are treating themselves. How are we treating ourselves in terms of good nutrition and vitamins, and the things that we say to ourselves and the things that we say to each other. So I don't know if this is making any sense to you, but it just feels like a complex web of things and not just one simple answer. But I would start there.
Absolutely.
I would start with clearing out the clutter. So the clutter in the mind, the clutter in the environment, and the way we speak to each other and interact and with each other. And
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
what's going on with you there, dear?
Oh, yes. And Scooping said that makes
Are
sense.
you in a
So
trance?
yeah. Me? No.
Did you
I'm
freeze?
no. Nope. Can you all hear me? I think, did you freeze, Julie Starr?
Oh my goodness.
I think everybody can hear me. No? Can you all hear me? Hello? Maybe that was Julie. Okay, so if you can hear me, please let me know. And I hope it wasn't me. Can you see me, Julie?
I'm back. Did anything was anything I say heard?
Yes, and Scooping did say that it does make sense.
Okay.
So
I'll tell you what happened. That my mom, I'm on my phone and my mom called, and so so I just left and came back. So just her calling, I said I'm gonna have to remind her not to call me during this time.
No problem. And yeah, so just getting back to Scooping, and hi Frida. So it was interesting because I was seeing that element, very much like what Julie was saying, like where it is a combination of things, and it almost feels like a sort of a domino effect, and throughout the family line. So the best way that they're showing me is to clear it is literally they were cutting the cord from that. So it's to heal the family line. You can't just go back to every single family member and be like, hey, we're all going to clear. No, that's not how you really clear the family line. You actually stop it from this generation moving forward.
Right.
So it's about clearing. It's about putting forth the effort into changing certain patterns within your life. And and it's funny because I see that it goes back, like I'm seeing at least and I'm not even looking that far, is it goes back like 4 or so generations. And this is and there's like this sort of lack of at one point there's like this sort of lack of compassion. This is how they say it to me, from the opposite sex, and it doesn't necessarily mean the men, just the men. It means the women. So there was almost like this sort of back and forth where I was wrong, then I wronged this person in this life, and that's how it feels, and it's really interesting. But it's what's underlined. Why does that come out? Why does the need to do this? So it's about healing that, doing deep healing within that line, and within your entire family line, to sort of change that conditioning towards your feelings, or your outlook on certain situations. And it's funny because I feel like you do know what that means. Like we're always really angry when it's that, like, oh, I have a really bad temper, or I get like this, because what is triggering that? What is triggering every single time? Like, I'm trying to give you an example. Let's say in my family, we hate it when people put, keep dishes in the dishwasher or in the sink. Like, that's not really a thing. But I'm saying like, and you get so angry that you throw a fit and you throw the dishes everywhere. Now, why did you get to that point in that? And what triggered that? So it's about like figuring out in those moments, okay, this is not a healthy way to view something, and then you clear it from there. You stop it there in this generation. So yeah, I mean, and I want to say this too, and they brought up another thing. My siblings and I have a saying. It's the Paulino curse. Um, we have like a Paulino curse. Like, but you know what? Even in that act, like my siblings say it, I don't. But in just saying that, you almost perpetuate that happening,
Give it in.
right? And you keep it, yeah, you give it energy. So I don't say it, and I don't believe it because we're all different. Um, yeah, that breaks it down very clearly. No
Yeah,
problem, no problem. Thank you,
yeah,
Scooping.
yeah. And you know what?
Yeah,
I have one.
yeah, absolutely.
I, oh, I'm sorry. I was going to add one thing, but you're not finished.
Oh, that. Oh no, I was just going to say, Frida has just wanted to ask real quick. Yes, we're doing readings tonight, but we want you to put a specific question in the chat, and then we'll do the reading for you.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead there,
I was just
Julie.
going to add one thing that for Scooping, that you can't affect or change the other people's behavior, or you can't change them or try to get them to clear the clutter. It all starts with you. So focus on
Right.
yourself, work on yourself, and other people in your family, they are on their path. So I do really agree with what Theon said about starting with the here and now and not worrying so much about the family line, even though, we have things that travel through the family line and affect us in the here and now. So it's all about working on yourself, work on yourself, work on your own self-awareness, your own spiritual health, your own psychological health, the health of your physical environment, your life. Work on your life, and that is going to have an effect on the people in your immediate environment. And so you'll be a role model for them, especially the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and Scooping says appreciate it a lot. Thank you. So yeah, absolutely. And we all have in one way or another things that we take from our family, from our environment, and a lot much of what we experience can become conditioning, whether it's good or not. So, that's just sort of one of our human traits is that, um, you know, in a lot of ways, we want to have patterns. We want to have, because it's safe. It takes us back to, the time when it wasn't so safe. You didn't have a house that you could lock a door. So, those patterns build up over time. I mean, we're conditioned from the moment of at birth until the day we die. In fact, as much work as you do on yourself, there are things that can come up that creates conditioning, and not all of it's bad. Like I said, some of it, if I'm, conditioned, I had a great experience with a puppy. I'm going to always love puppies. That's not a bad thing. But it's the ones that really affect you and stunt you, that and don't allow you to move forward. So like I don't want people to say, oh my gosh, there's so much conditioning, and almost feel panicky about it. It reveals itself when it needs to. One thing I love about the Evolve Me community is that we're very close knit, and all the intuitives, the practitioners, we talk. We're good friends, and it's great to talk shop with somebody, that knows it, that understands it. And, it's always good to talk it out with people. If you don't know, don't ever feel like you can't ask. And if somebody, dismisses you or anything like that for asking a simple question, that's from their own conditioning. They've been conditioned to feel a certain way about that question, honestly. So we can't really judge ourselves and feel and take that inward, because because nobody can actually really see you without having that conditioning around them. So that's not an actual or a true view of who you are. So therefore, and that's what I've always told myself is like, well, this person can't really know who I am. So whatever they're saying has to do with, whatever insecurity they have around something. So try to look at it like that, and things feel less, I would say, it hurts less when you get sort of that kind of comment back or whatever. But anyway, my point of was about the community is really just, and I love that you all are asking these questions, because so often do we not want to ask these questions because we're in fear of how we're going to be judged. But especially with us, Julie and I, we asked the questions too. We were there, and so feel free to ask whatever question that you have. Is there anyone? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh no.
I was going to say all that, what you were saying, that in psychology, we call that projection. We call that projections, where there are things in ourselves that we don't want to acknowledge, that are what are in the shadow, what Carl Jung called the shadow, but we can very easily see that in someone else. So when someone's judging you, or they're pointing things out in you that are what we might call negative, or that don't feel so good, just remember that these are things that also exist in the person who is doing the pointing, and they're not willing to acknowledge it, but they're very willing to see it in you.
Right.
And sometimes it doesn't exist in you. You're just a mirror. It exists in the other person. It does, and it may exist in you, or it may not.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, absolutely. And I'm writing Frida back, because she asked if I just wanted to be a little bit more specific. You don't necessarily have to give us their full name or anything. Frida, just give us a name to point to, or you can say mother, father, grandfather, whatever. But let us connect to them, because I want to say the reason I'm saying this is specifically, and I told Julie, I was like, I was really upset. Never happened to me before. I had a reading recently where apparently this person had a ton of people around, and it was like I was going through the people that were around her to find the one that she wanted, and I was like, I'm so sorry, and it like took a while to actually get there. So and it kind of posed a conversation with Julie and I was like, it's easier if we're just pointing right to the person you want to talk to. You don't have to give us too much information. We just need one central focus, because sometimes it's like the Wild West around people. So, yeah,
that's the way it is. There's just so many people around.
Yeah, absolutely. So Frida said, let's see, it's Levi or Levy, or Jeff, please, or both. Okay, so we'll do one at a time, because then we'll mix them. So whichever one you want to connect with, Julie, I'll connect with the other.
Okay, I'll go for Levi.
Okay. Perfect. And I will pick.
I will say I'll give it a shot. It's difficult for me to do mediumship without actually hearing a person's voice and talking to them. So I'm going to just qualify that, and I'm going to give this a shot.
And so, with Jeff, no problem. And let's see, I'm sorry. So with Jeff, I don't know why I'm seeing like a professional bicyclist. Like that's his tall, thin, works out. That was the first image that flashed in my head. So I want to connect with him a little bit more, but hopefully this is the person that I'm looking. It's funny because I'm seeing like this blue and red striped sort of like hat, that they wear. I don't know, biking so much, but yeah, so. But I feel like he's he passed at a young age, so I'm gonna keep focusing on him.
Okay, and what is the person's name again? Who is asking?
It's Lieve. I don't want to say it incorrectly.
Lieve. Leave,
Yeah.
leave. And who is the person, the sitter?
This is Frida.
Frida. Okay.
Bandito. And I love that name, Frida Bandito. No, oh, not at all. Okay. So I'm not sure if anybody knows a bicyclist that is tall and is wearing a red and they popped in. Okay.
I'm looking at, it usually starts with hair for me, and I'll see someone's hair. But I'm also looking just for the energy and the color of the energy. But I've just seen kind of this brown hair. It's not blonde, it's not brown, it's somewhere in between, this brownish hair. And this person, has a pretty slim build, and the clothing I'm seeing them in it feels like someone who is just very comfortable with nature, just kind of a laid back, kind of leisurely person, but who likes to be outdoors, is just comfortable with that, a natural person. And this person feels, there's a relaxed, sort of relaxed in their nature. I don't feel like an anxious person. It's kind of laid back, someone that's comfortable to be around. And if any of this is making sense, let me know, so I don't end up on a tangent and it's not the person you want to talk to. Now, and Theon said Levi, so when she said Levi, I'm immediately thinking man, that this is the man, but and a lot of color around this person. There's a lot of color around this person. So let me move into some of this color. So I have this like beautiful green, like a forest green, a beautiful forest green. As I move into that color of that energy, again, it's just like this wholesomeness, this naturalness. And there is this transformation that this person would like you to know that they have.
And she's saying she was slim. Sorry.
Okay, that he is. And is it a he?
She. Yeah.
It's a she. Okay.
She. Yeah.
That you saying Levi totally messed me up. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have glasses.
But it's a man, though. I don't know that it's a man. So okay, so the brown hair. This is green. It's almost this emerald green. And so she feels like, again, like this natural kind of easygoing, but there's a transformation. So she, on the other side, has experienced an opportunity for growth, and she wants you to know that she is not the same necessarily. And I know we talk about, how people are the same. Well, they do have an opportunity to continue to grow and change and see their life from a different perspective. And that's what I'm getting from her. And it's important for her, for you to know that. And transformation is a process. And I feel like that may be something that's happening for you now, Frida, is that you're having some transformative life events or life experiences yourself and going through a process of growth. And she wants you, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Lieva wants you to know that she's right there with you.
And she said, woman, bright red hair.
She's bright red hair. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, so I see a lot of color around her. Okay. Yeah, and so that's what I have for you, and I'm gonna leave you with that, Frida.
Yeah. Awesome. And it's funny. I'm sorry, Frida. It was difficult for me to also do a cross reading here, because it's interesting. So when you put two people in this sort of scenario, it's funny. Because I'm seeing sort of like this energy, and I don't know if he like worked in construction. There's a lot of like when I connect with this energy, I'm getting a lot of like um uh how do like it looks like metal, and there it looks almost like if I'm at a construction site and the building's not built yet. Like I'm getting those kinds of images and clipboards and all of these things like that are coming up, and and I'm getting it's really interesting how it's all kind of coming in with them, and I'm hoping that I'm not cross reading that, because it's funny how I kind of mentioned they had like this like sort of red cap, but but it's like um I still feel that this sort of Jeff energy, it feels younger. It doesn't feel like, I passed at a really like old age. It feels it feels like they were relatively young, sort of died before and like in the beginning I started feeling sort of a passive energy from him coming through, and so you know like it's almost like it's funny because perhaps he worked in construction, or like metal work or something like with his hands, but I'm also getting like I'm getting this bad stomach pain right below my belly button. So I'm not sure if he had stomach issues, but the energy of this person that at this point, especially with all the people that are on the chat, I'm not sure that I'm not sure anymore. But no, it's funny because it's like uh, his energy felt very what is the word? Uh, like really well put together, like planned. It almost feels sort of like it almost feels like a brother, somebody, when they died, they were older than you, but they weren't old, at their age, but and it felt like somebody sort of that you looked up to, and for that, since Julie gave you a reading as well, I'm just going to move on, and feel free to verify that if you'd like. But thank you so much, Frida. I'm just going to kind of clear this out.
Okay, I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
you. Does Jeff have light brown hair, or brown hair, or brown hair? I'm just curious. And I also want to say too, it was just coming in with the, just like sister friend, somebody like a sister to you almost. This Lieva.
Yeah. Oh,
I was just
she.
sister friend.
Oh, good. Frida said yes, he has brown hair. Jeff, he had died of suicide at age 65. Ex-partner. Okay. Yeah. And do you know if he worked in construction, or I'm seeing sort of like metal work in that, and Frida, I'm very sorry for your loss, and I understand how that feels. And yes, she was like a sister friend. I guess that's the Lievi.
Yeah.
I don't want to butcher that name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once I got off of, I'm looking for a man named Levi, and I wonder if I started to tune into Jeff because I was tuning into a man at first, but as we got through that, I was getting sister friend, and she's close by. She's close by. And I'm seeing like a bell. I don't know what the bell is about, a bell, but like an auditory sign that, she leaves you signs somehow. And there's something about a bell.
Leva.
Okay, that makes sense. There's something about a bell, and also you getting signs that you might hear, things you might hear, as her like letting you know she's nearby.
Awesome. And she said that, yeah, he did pottery and ceramics. Yeah, that kind of explains what I was seeing with this, like it looked like this construction thing, but that would make sense. The pottery stuff. Yeah. And oh, sorry. For some reason, it's funny. It's like if I talk completely, and so I can't hear for a minute, for like a couple seconds. So, what were you saying, Julie?
Oh, I don't know. I was gonna say, yeah. Well, he works with his hand. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny if you could hear that. I don't know too, Jill. Like it's like when you talk, I'm like, because I know that it's going to pause for a little bit. but yeah, that is, yeah, that's interesting. And yeah, so like I said, I'm very very sorry for both of your losses that you had to sort of uh, you know deal with. I want to say mourn. And yeah, and I want to say also, I can't say this enough. We as humans, we always think of what happened at the end because we think it's the end, and it's not. It's after we pass the pain, everything that we went through in this life, we've released ourselves from that pain, and therefore we feel free. And yes, some spirits, especially some of the tragic, the more tragic endings to their lives, they will have some, they will need some more time sometimes to sort of heal from it. But that's the beauty of being eternal. We do continue to grow, to learn, and to understand. So, as a spirit said to me once, the thing is, we actually feel sorry for you on earth. Because you're the ones that actually have to feel the pain. The only sadness that they feel is the sadness of their loved one suffering. And I always want to tell people, your loved one isn't suffering anymore. They're only sad if you're sad. So just always keep that in mind. And believe me, I've had some pretty tragic losses in my life, so I definitely understand where you're coming from. Oh goodness, Christina, if you're still here, please re-put that in the chat for us so I can see that again and connect with it. But Frida, if there's any question, and I kind of said that mainly for you, Frida, it definitely felt like there was some unspoken, no problem, and sort of this unspoken, but like it felt cut off. And that's kind of what I was trying to say before, is like it felt like things that needed to be said were not said. And that is sort of like my acknowledgement of you can still say and they can still hear. So yes, thank you so much. And oh yeah, Christina, will you just put in the chat, sorry, exactly what you said, because that was really extraordinary. I just don't want to misinterpret what you said. I know you were saying something about your grandmother, and I want to read it to Julie. So, and with my glasses, in case she has a name I can't see. I just wanted to connect with my grandmother. Okay. I'm going to spell it Memere. M-E.
Mere.
And it's very French sounding. But I do know Christina.
That with her grandmother. Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, I think I got a message. Oh, yeah, I think I got a message. I kind of didn't want to. I wanted to, but I should tell her. French, yeah, for grandmother. Ah, okay.
Oh, okay.
And I took French for 2 years in high school, and obviously you could tell I didn't retain a thing. Uh, Mema. Oh, okay. I love that. Let's see. Oh, wonderful. Mema. Okay. So, very interesting. I almost feel like I'm wrapping a present, but the present feels like if it's like flowered, and she's sort of covering along meme. I'm not going to say it right, meme. But yeah, it's funny. There was something about when it came up when I connected with your grandmother. It almost looked like I was viewing her from a TV screen, and I'm seeing her wrapping this present, um, you know, uh, but it's in this beautiful, like sort of like rose patterned paper, and and it's very interesting because there is that connection. Um, I'm feeling like it's a connection about, and I know you have a son, right? And yeah, you have a son, and but I feel like it's almost like a message about that, and so I'm going to connect with that a little bit more.
Yeah, and and I'm just sitting with this this image and the feeling that goes with it, and as you as a younger person. So you're not really a child, but you're not really an adult yet, but you're, maybe in your teens or preteens. And it feels like a memory of, or a memory that she has of you as a young person, as a older child or a teen. Um, it's hard with the ages, and and you're visiting, and there's this, you're visiting with her, you are with her, and there's this easiness, and this love. There's just this, oh, what's the word? Oh, the word that I want to do that is, it's the softness. There's this softness and this warmth with the two of you together. And I keep seeing the kitchen, like she's teaching you things, or she's baking or cooking or teaching you how to make a recipe, or that this is something she would like to do, or that you guys would do together. So I just have this image of you all together, and it's just there's no feeling of angst, there's no feeling of dysfunction. It's just this feeling of softness and just enjoying each other's company, and that's what she's showing me. And and I just have this image of her hair back or up, and there's something about her that is just so, like, damn, I wish it could have been that way with me and my mom. Even
Yeah.
that, because it's just so comfortable. And it's these memories that you hold on to that keep you connected with her, and it keeps her, close by when you think of her, and you remember the great times. And also a little message for you that everyday miracles can happen at any time, and don't give up, and don't lose hope. Don't give up. Don't lose hope, and always expect a miracle
Yeah.
in your.
Love that. Yeah, and I want to say this, Christina. It's funny. It's like I'm getting an image, sort of where she's visualizing you on a carousel wheel. Wait, a carousel, and yeah, carousel, and you're kind of going around and around, and it feels like you're kind of going in circles, and she's kind of acknowledging that where it's almost like you almost feel like you have to stay on this carousel. But it's, again, it's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. In fact, it feels like it's making you dizzy. And she's giving it to me like in this scenario, and it's not a negative thing. It's funny because it's almost like you have these sort of conversations with her that are they're sort of like, you're kind of in silence and you're like, oh, grandma, I just want to blah, blah, blah. And so it's like she's giving you these messages, within your dream state. But like she's showing it to me, like it's almost like this foggy memory of this carousel going around. It does have to do with your son, but also like how like she's basically saying don't be repetitive about something. And I don't really want to disclose anything like that if we're not having a one-on-one reading, and not that it's a bad thing. I just, who knows? So, but what I want to say is that she's saying, get off. Get off. And it's that simple. And you don't even have to wait. Like the way it's like she's saying, like, you don't even have to wait until it stops. You don't have to do it. You don't have to stay on there. And it's not going to change. It's not going to change the fact that it's still going. It's not going to change anything with you, right? And so it, but it's like she's giving advice in real time to you. Like I feel like this happens a lot where you are you are sort of getting this advice, good ideas. Sometimes it comes after a good night's sleep. And this in particular feels like you remember something about it, but she's giving it to me in sort of this symbol of okay, the repetitive stuff, like you think that you have to stay on there until the ride ends. That's what I keep seeing, like, but you don't need to. You could tell them to stop. There's other options for you. You just have to know that there are, if that makes any sense. But I do see a lot of love, and I don't know why she comes in as a TV, but like, it's really funny. It's like I'm seeing her, and again, like I said, with this beautiful pattern, but it's almost like she's kind of comical in the way that she kind of puts it to you. Like she could be harsh, but she also could be very comical. So yeah, and sorry to read the comments here. She loves roses, and my grandfather had a TV shop or store, and then she said she didn't cook. She was the worst cook, but always loved to hang out in the kitchen. I love it. Yeah, she feels funny. Like it was even the way she was like, get off. Like why didn't you see that? It's like it's very comical. Yeah, and spicy. Yes, absolutely. Interesting. Yeah, and thank you. So I do want to just leave you with this, Christina, and I'm sure you in a lot of ways already know this, but you already communicate with her. It's just wrapping your brain around it and knowing that that's what's happening. Because she is very great, like very good with advice with you, and knows you. And it's almost, I want to say this, and sorry, all channels, if I say this, but it's almost like she basically is saying, cut the bullshit. Like it's like, and not in a bad way. Not that you're doing anything dramatically, crazy, but she's almost, it's like, just like getting get it together. You're fine. Like, that kind of thing where she kind of shakes that reality. I love that kind of person because they really get you out of the clouds. And that's really what she does, which is funny because she does come in as a dream. She would literally say exactly that. Yeah. Yeah. And I resonate with that. Maybe my own mother was very much like that. So I like that. But yeah, so I thank you. And again, it's like, um, you can just believe that that's what's happening because it is. And the more that open yourself up to it, the more communication, the easier it's going to become. And I think you do know, that you are communicating with her. So I think that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then, oops, I had somebody else. And thank you, Christina, for coming. And it's always a joy to speak with you and, to hear about your really cool grandmother.
If anything, if she has those memories, I mean, what was I connecting into, with them in the kitchen and the memories of her as a younger person?
Oh, she did say that she like to hang out in the kitchen, though.
Okay. Did she ever teach her how to cook or show her or try to help her with her cooking or baking or just doing things, teaching her some things like that?
Let me see. She may have hopped off.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she said we always were in the kitchen and at her kitchen table. Yeah, so definitely, yeah.
Okay, that's where I was seeing them together at the kitchen, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't learn how to make some things. Like I wish I had done that with my grandmother before she died. Learned how to make her chocolate cake because she had a one
Ooh,
chocolate cake that no one
that
can
sounds.
create.
And she said she was the worst cook ever. She hears you, by the way. And then, but she said she tried always to feed us. Yeah, no, she heard you. No, I love that though. At least she tried. And whether she was trying to teach you to cook or just teach you life lessons, while not cooking well, that is an amazing grandmother.
Their grandma
Uh,
is a better cook than you did.
oh, she said, I just learned how to be a good person from her. I love that. And, I love that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's actually the best. I think that's better than learning some dish. So,
definitely better.
yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much, Christina. Again, always lovely and wonderful to speak to you all the time. So keep coming back. Um, yeah. And then somebody else had put something in the chat. I'm not sure that they're there. I couldn't see. For some reason, the Instagram chat does not, allow me to scroll up when I'm on Restream. So if you are still here, feel free to feel free to put in a message or the question that you had. We're gonna kind of close down here in a few minutes. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody about the retreat in April. It's April 26th through the 28th. And it's in St. Augustine. It's going to be a crazy ultimate paranormal experience. So it's going to be with me, Deborah Lynn Katz, and Josh from Hope Paranormal. So definitely want to come. It's going to be 3 days of crazy paranormal fun and intuitive development. So, and yes, in our if you go to the link in any one of our social medias, it's under Linktree and Ultimate Paranormal Retreat. So I would like to connect with my grandfather. Oh, everybody's, my name is Than, so I got to really learn harder names. Gennaro. So Gennaro. Gennaro.
That
Gennaro?
that's the grandfather's name.
Yes, Gennaro. Right? Um, hmm. I just got like a flash of suspenders before I even started connecting. Like um, khaki or brown pants, these suspenders, kind of high up. Oh, okay. Oh, he's definitely a lively one. He really pops out at me. I'm going to connect with him further, but yeah, I'm already kind of getting a feel for him. Um, was obviously older when he passed, and he felt and it's funny because the suspenders are one to kind of acknowledge, but two to say that that he kind of when he passed, I mean, he was older. As a child, you knew him as strong and all of these things, and then there was like it almost feels sort of like you kind of saw him sort of I don't want to say at towards the end of his life, so he wasn't necessarily the strong man that he was, but in spirit, and I mean while he had a body, he still was that strong man, because there's something about him that I just want to respect, like he was a solid man. He comes in very much like, oh, she's looking for me, so here I am, like dependable, um, all of these things, and I'm getting chills about it. Like he was not just respected by the family, but by others. Like his energy is just like I don't know why I want to. I exactly, yeah. Like it's like I want to say like and I don't know why, but like almost like a Kennedy. Like he had that way about him. Very like charming, intelligent, like real like um just a quality human, and that's what he taught you. And speaking of teaching somebody to be a good person, but he I'm sure he taught you, he taught your parents and siblings, and like that was his, like he was like a true matriarch in all of the sense, and a matriarch not being the head of a family, but the one that allows it to thrive. um, I feel like he's saying a lot of wise things right now. um, and that was his way. There's like this feeling of sayings. Oh my gosh, I see a saying of his, um, um, like it framed somewhere. Like that's the image I'm getting. Like where it's like, Grandpa always said, this. It's like that kind of. We talk about family traumas and family whatever. This is the opposite of that. He did allow his family to thrive, and one thing is he still does, and that's really what he wants to kind of message to you. He was here, and yes, he's gone, but his messages, his love, his what he has taught, how he grew this family, and from his in this family line, he's created some beautiful energy within your family. Yes, he was always had great advice and always had sayings. Yeah, and it's like famous sayings. Like that's how I feel. Like, but it's always. I want to say this to you. It's always nice to hear from somebody, because of course you miss them, but but he just as much his energy through all of these things is still very much here, and so is he, in spirit. He's always there. He's always guiding the family. And as I was saying to Christina earlier, it's funny because there are spirits that pass and then they move on. There are a lot of family spirits that stay to keep the family thriving. And and not that he stays on as earthbound, but he is very much still connected with the family in that way. So it's just, he has so much love for you and your family, and that he is always here, and is always listening, by the way. So, and hi there, Julie.
Hi. Yeah, my mother
Hi.
called again. So, okay.
Blood is thicker than water.
Yeah, I was tuning into the energy, and I just moved into this reddish and then this maroon color. And as I felt into this maroon color, what I got about your grandfather was that life was not always easy. So maroon, when I see maroon, maroon is like, you've been through it. You've had the tough times. You've had problems to solve. You've had challenges. Sometimes life can sting. So I'm getting, sometimes life stings, and that's okay. So looking back on that, he could see all the hard times, the times when life stung, the upsetting times, the tragic times, whatever it is that he went through. All of these things were there for a purpose for him. And this is what built his resilience. This is what made him strong. And from the other side, he can look back and he's proud of his life and proud of what he's accomplished and proud of who he became through basically trial and error and basically through trials. And this was, a legacy that he then was able to give to his children, to his grandchildren, was the wisdom that came through the years. So that maroon color is like earning your stripes, it's earning your stripes. And he wants you to know too, not to be afraid of the hard times, because when the challenges come, remember where you came from. Remember who your family is. Remember what everyone has been through, because they laid the brickwork for you. They laid the path for you, and they set the example, and you too will overcome whatever challenges, and that it will make you more resilient. And you can look back on your life one day and say, I lived a good life.
Yeah. And she said, yes, Julie. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm getting from him. And I was also seeing wheels, like the car wheels, wheels of a car, but they looked old fashioned, like the real shiny hubcaps. And I'm like, why are you showing me this? And I just had the sense that he just liked his car or something. Liked his car, liked to drive, or was proud of that. But I'm seeing from a long time ago. It's just kind of old-fashioned.
Yeah, and she's saying that he passed on the lessons from the hardships he's had in his life. So, yeah, one energy that I that really felt soft and strong coming in, right, Julie? I mean, he sounded like a really well-rounded man. So yeah, I want to know if he liked his cars too.
I don't know what this is about the car, but it almost reminds me like a 1950s or something. It's but all I see is the wheels of the car, and they're really shiny.
Well, it's funny. Well, when you said that too, what I connected with was, the hardships. It's like, when he finally got something new and shiny, he took really great care of it. Like, that's how I feel. Yeah, but it's interesting, when he finally, made it to that point. And it's funny, like when you were saying that too, yeah, it's like, he sort of endured a lot, but just like, as you were saying, through trial and error, he was sort of like the the path maker, for this family. So, yeah, that's really a great energy to connect with.
Yeah. Yeah. It was that was not difficult for me to tune into him.
Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, and Laura, everyone, we want to just thank you all. I know it's getting kind of late for us, but yeah, and Julie, I think, yeah, and Julie, why don't we tell everybody how? Oh, there she is. He was always proud of his car, and took great care of them. He always wanted a Cadillac, and when he could afford it. Oh, I love it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that makes sense in those very shiny wheels, the car wheels, and he
Yeah,
liked his car.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it decided he didn't need it. Thank you. Oh, well, good. Yeah. Well, yeah. What a good man, and a lot of sacrifices he's made. So yeah. She said, "Thank you so much." And thank you, Laura, for allowing us, and everyone that has allowed us to connect with your loved ones. It is very important, and we definitely take that seriously. And oh, no, don't worry. Are you kidding? My everything I do is a typo. That's why I talk text. But yeah, so and I just want to thank you, and I want to thank your families in spirit, as for us being a medium. We came to this job because of our love and respect for the spirits, as well as the people wanting to communicate. And we find it very important, and do as much as we can. We have been there too, and want to connect, had at that point of wanting to connect with our loved ones. So we definitely take that seriously. So, oh, thank you. And she said, amazing reading. Thank you so much. And for everyone, just to kind of recap, we're on every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And, we love to hear paranormal stories. We want just like a whole, sitting by the fire telling camp stories kind of thing. So please feel free to, message us, or even hop on and tell us your story, or we'll even put you on live with us, and come on and tell us your story, because just as much as I love to tell a story, I love to hear a good story. So, and I know Julie too, because we're just that's why they call us the paranormal mediums, because we just love everything paranormal. So let us know your experiences, even if, let's say, you're kind of kind of going through something that you can't really explain. We would definitely love to help with that. And again, every show we do readings and things like that. And obviously we also off of our Wednesdays, we do have a few, our websites and things like that you can connect with us. But on all of the social media links then in our bios for Facebook, YouTube, everywhere, has our information in there. So feel free to just click where it says Linktree, and it will show you a whole list of all the things that we do and all the ways to get a hold of us. So, and sorry, Julie, you had a few things to say.
Yeah, I was just going to repeat that. So look us up. If anybody wants a private reading, you can look either one of us up on evolveme.com. I do intuitive life coaching. I work with people who are having unsettling psychic experiences or paranormal experiences, and we'll do healings and clearings and help people, with information about how they can manage or they can clear some of this stuff out of their space. And also intuitive life coaching, for people who just need a little bit more than just a reading. They need work on goals and a path forward, or they're getting over a relationship, and they want healthier relationships and want to learn healthier relationship behaviors. So all these are things I can help people with, where I combine what I know about psychology with the psychic part or the clairvoyant part.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you can get a hold of me on evolveme.com. I have different services, classes, mediumship readings, all different kinds of readings, and mentorships and things like that. So, if you're a growing intuitive or just want an intuitive reading, hop on Evolve Me. And there are many of us that are just amazing, and intuitives and healers and things like that. So, join as a member and, be a part of our very loving community. I want to say I do love our community. It's not like the typical ones where you don't know anybody. We're very close. So, we love more people that feel the same way to hop on with us. And if not, then we'll see you next week, and hope that you all have a wonderful week. And make sure to tell us your paranormal stories. I want to hear some stories, people.
What's going on in your house?
I know. I know, because we're always filming Julie in my house. We want to see what's going on behind your doors. But yes, and one more thing, just remember, April 26th through the 28th is going to be an amazing in-person retreat. It's the paranormal. It's going to be everything paranormal. It's going to be mediumship and all these types of training, as well as paranormal investigations. And it's going to be 3 days of crazy fun in St. Augustine, which is beautiful, as well as crazy haunted. So yeah, definitely join us. That's also in the link tree. So hopefully you can make it, and hopefully we'll see you back next week.
Yeah.
Have a great night, everyone. Oh,
that's St. Augustine, Florida, for people who don't know where St. Augustine is. So,
yes. Well, if they click the link tree, then they'll know everything.
We're going to do a seance too, aren't we?
Yes, we're going to do a very safe seance, because I don't want people to think that it's going to be something scary. But it is. We're going to do a lot of different practices like that, connecting with with spirit, as well as with instruments, but also intuitively. So we're going to do some training for people, as well as testing your intuitive brain on walking tours throughout. And I'm going to be the tour guide around the city. So it's going to be fun, and I'm going to do little things around the city. Very uber haunted places that I know, because I go there a lot. It's going to be so much fun. So yeah, we're just like some paranormal kids in a candy store, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So thank you all so much, and we hope to see you next week. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.